at about 5, 6 o'clock last night, Utah football found out they were rated 8th in the first college football playoff poll. Doesn't mean anything right now, but it gives you an idea of where they're at. Kyle Whittingham was probably watching last night when it came out. Hey, Kyle, how are you?
Doing good, Billy. How are you?
Doing fantastic. What was your reaction when you saw the numbers come out last night?
I don't think it was surprising. I mean, we anticipated, probably being right about that spot, and so I don't think there was anything that was unexpected. But like you said, it doesn't mean a whole lot right now. It's just a starting point. And, I'm sure every team in the country is preaching the same thing, but there's a lot of football left, and we got to, be focused and just concentrate on being 1-0 every week, and that's the bottom line.
I think what it showed me, though, was you guys are in the game. Whether that game, I mean, you've got work to do, certainly you do, everybody does, but you're in that zone, that range where you're actually in the discussion, and that's a nice place to be, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it's a nice tribute to our players and for what they've accomplished so far this season. Through 3/4 of the way through the regular season,
yep.
They've done some really good things, and to be recognized for that, I think is positive. But as long as we understand that again, it doesn't mean a whole lot right now, other than what you said, is that we're in the conversation.
Kyle Whittingham with us here on the Bill Riley Show this morning. You guys have that second bye this week. UCLA coming up next week. It's an odd spot. Everybody in the Pac-12 has a couple of byes this year. We always joke about where the bye comes, but this one has to come at a pretty good time for you guys. Gives your quarterback a chance to heal up, and you've got 3 games left in the regular season. You can kind of put things together, get ready for those.
Exactly, and we're hopefully making the most of the bye week, and you're right, giving Tyler a chance to heal up, and what do we have? I think we had 5 games in a bye, then 4 games in a bye, then
yep.
finished with the last 3, and so timing wise, I think it worked out really well, and it's given us, this second bye has given us essentially twice as much time to work with our developmental squad. We've had practice each day this week with the young guys, and there's a bunch of those guys that are going to be playing for us next year. So to be able to have hands-on with them and give them individual attention, where we don't usually have that opportunity during a game week, has been very positive for us.
Now that you've had a few days to let it soak in and watch the game a couple of different times, what was your biggest takeaway from that Washington game Saturday?
Well, just so proud of the way our guys, handle adversity. You're in a hostile environment and down 14-3, early second quarter, and just to be able to continue to battle and just find a way to win and gain control of the game. Really, it took us a while at the line of scrimmage to start to take control, but in that second half, I thought we really took control of both sides of the line of scrimmage, and that was really the difference in the game.
Is it a nice feeling not having to scoreboard watch now for you guys, knowing that you do control your fate?
Yeah, although we didn't really talk much about it or focus on it, because, in years past, history will tell you that, you're nobody's going to go through the league undefeated, particularly in the South, and we felt there was enough tough games that were coming up that if we just took care of our business, that things would work themselves out.
Have you had a chance at all that they're not on your schedule this year, but by cross kind of game planning for others, have you had a chance to look much at Oregon yet this year?
We have, yeah. We've seen them several times in the preparation for other teams, and they're talented. I mean, they're fast. I mean, typically what you think of when you think of Oregon, that's exactly what they are this year. They got a lot of athletes, a lot of team speed, and they're playing well right now.
You beat them a year ago at your place. When you've seen them, when you've done that kind of cross looking at other teams, is there anything different about them this year from what you've seen versus the team you played a year ago?
They're very similar, more similarities than differences. Left tackle is outstanding. The Sewell kid. I mean, he's one of the best players in college football. He's a tremendous talent. But no, they're the same quarterback, Herbert. Big strong guy that is doing a good job running the offense. And so I would say, just another year into the Mario Cristobal era, which is starting to settle in. It takes a few years to settle in when you have a coaching change. Have
you begun to look at UCLA yet? And if so, what stands out, especially the last 2 or 3 games, because they've clearly gotten better?
They have. They're on a 3-game roll, and they're running the football a lot better. The running back is doing a great job. The quarterback, to us, is really the catalyst. I mean, he's a guy that can hurt you, by extending the play and either pulling the ball down and running or finding an open receiver. And so he's somebody that you really got to focus on. And like I said, the running back, he's leading the league. I mean, he's number one rusher in the league right now as far as yards per game, and it's just been on a tear the last 3 games.
Same guy they had a year ago, and he was pretty good a year ago too. Are they better up front from what you can tell, Kyle? Is that what's allowing him to run this year?
Yeah, they've got they were very inexperienced last year up front. Those guys are most all of them a year older. They do have a couple freshmen that are figuring in, but they're much improved up front, and they're just playing better. I mean, they're starting to hit their stride right now.
I wanted to ask you about Tyler. You and I have talked about him on and off this year and obviously over the last couple of years, but I think now people outside of your program and outside of this state and even around the conference are beginning to take note of what he is for you guys and what he is as a quarterback in general. I think people have looked at him and said, okay, he's a good quarterback for Utah, but now when you look at his numbers and the efficiency numbers and the big play numbers that he puts up, I think people are taking notice of that nationally right now. But as you look at Tyler, and you've said he's the unquestioned leader of your football team, what is it on the field that's made him such a difference maker for you, and especially this year versus years gone by?
Well, I'd say the number one thing is his accuracy, and he's always been a pretty accurate quarterback. It's not like he was erratic before and all of a sudden found his a way to become more accurate. He was always accurate to a pretty good degree, but his accuracy this year is gone to a whole nother level. His decision making, Coach Ludwig has been a great mentor for him this year, and he's really embraced what Andy has brought to the table offensively, scheme wise, and Andy's done a great job tailoring our scheme to fit Tyler's skill set, which is what that's the essence of coaching is finding out who your guys are and your playmakers, and then tailoring things to take advantage of that and putting them in position to succeed, and that's exactly what's happened. And Tyler has spent so many hours in the film room and in his preparation, and that's probably the biggest one single reason for his success this year is his preparation Monday through Friday and how he is going about his business in that regard.
Have you been surprised by his toughness and his ability to stay on the field?
No, he's put on, like we've talked about 15, 20 pounds from last year, which has been a big help. He's always been a tough kid. The toughness has never been questioned, but sometimes to a fault. He'd hurl his body around at times and put himself in harm's way too often, and he's gotten smarter in that regard, a lot more judicious in the way he runs the football and trying to take hits off of him, and so I think that that's been something that has really helped and preserved him this year.
I guess I was just talking about maybe more over the last month since he suffered that hit against Arizona State, and the fact that he's really been able to gut it out and still been able to perform at such a high level. And it's very clear at times, Kyle, you can see he's not the guy that he was early in the season, but he's still out there making plays.
Exactly, and I'm going to tell you, I've said it before, there's not a lot of guys that would have played through what he's played through, and he's a tough kid. He's there's no way you were going to keep him off the field a couple weeks back when he was really banged up. He made progress between that game and the UW game, but hopefully this bye we can get him back to where he's got the full offense at his disposal, and Andy can go back and do the things that we were doing earlier in the year with him.
All right, before I let you go, let's bring it back around again. Your name is being kicked around on ESPN, not your name, that's the program's name and things like that, and yours a little bit too, but what does that mean for the program as a whole, the image, being in that conversation for the college football playoff, being ranked in that top 10? What does that do for you from an image standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint? I have to guess it's all positive, but where do you see that impact the most?
Well, hopefully in recruiting, and that's your brand. Anytime your brand can improve and increase and have more of a national presence, then that should equate to a little bump in recruiting and being able to get in more doors and have people, more people visit your campus, maybe that wouldn't have otherwise. And so I think it all is positive, and we just gotta, like I said, keep going about our business. But with the exposure we're getting right now, that should be positive in recruiting, and our coaches will be heading out on the road tonight and tomorrow morning, and hopefully we start to see some of that come to fruition.
All right, college football turns 150 years old today, Kyle. The first ever game, November the 6th, 1869.
Didn't know that.
Rutgers and Princeton played. If I ask you, a guy that has basically lived your entire life around college football, who is the player or coach for you that most kind of symbolizes or represents college football?
Oh, wow, probably Bear Bryant.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up towards the tail end of his career, and really, had a respect for him and what he did, and he's probably the most, the iconic coach. Now maybe Nick Saban or someone will take his place here, but right now he's probably the most iconic coach in college football history, I would think.
I think I should get you maybe for the next coaches show a little houndstooth fedora. Could wear that
Let's
houndstooth fedora.
Yeah, let's do it
as a tribute to Bear Bryant. Hey, thanks. I'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you, Billy. Take
Appreciate
care.
it. Kyle Whittingham with us here on the program today.